You know that saying or the quote or whatever that, like, how can you expect someone else to love you if you don't even love yourself? I said in the last video I made, like, I fully disagree with that, but I guess I shouldn't say I fully disagree with it, because to an extent, like, you have to love yourself enough to know what you deserve and everything. But that, it doesn't matter, because if they're gonna love you for who you are and everything, like, that's all that truly matters. And you're gonna know that. So don't have in your mind, like, these people are telling you, like, no, 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 like, you can't expect for someone to love you when you can't even love yourself. Like, if you're in, like, a dark place and you feel super anxious and super depressed, and, like, say you're looking for a relationship or something, and people are like, this chair should make a few more sounds, I need to get a new one. But, and now I forget what I was saying. I have the memory of a freaking squirrel. Okay, so anyway, what was I saying? Oh, nobody's here to remind me. Cool. I don't remember, but still, just, oh, okay, like, say you are in a dark place, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling anxious, and maybe you're even looking for, like, a new relationship or whatever. People will be like, well, how can you expect anyone else to love you if you can't even love yourself? And it's like, it makes you feel like you're even more hopeless than you may have already felt, because you're like, okay, well, I can't just learn to love myself overnight. Like, it's gonna take time. And it's not true at all. Like, yeah, you need to love yourself to know, like, what you do deserve and what you don't deserve. Like, obviously, you know you don't deserve to be treated poorly, but if you don't love yourself enough to walk away, you know what I mean? Like, that's one thing. But if someone comes along and they're treating you right and everything, like, I want you to love yourself, don't get me wrong, but I know it does take time, because I'm still working on that myself. So far, I've got the self-worth part down a little bit, but it's not true that no one can love you. Like, it's not, it just sounds to me like they're saying you are incapable of being loved until you learn to love yourself, and it's just so not true. It's not. If someone comes along and they see you for who you are, and, like, they might really treat you right, then that's great. Then you know, you can eventually learn to love yourself. It's just, I get frustrated because people are like, well, how can you expect anyone else to love you if you don't love yourself first? I have an issue with that saying. I really truly do. And I've been told that so many times I couldn't even guess the number. So many times. But seriously, it's just, you have to love yourself enough to know what you don't deserve. Like, you don't deserve to be talked down to. You don't deserve to be treated poorly. You don't deserve all the negative stuff. Like, just know that you don't deserve that. And know that you deserve to be treated kindly and with respect and all that stuff. That's all it really means. People just make it, like, when they would always say it to me, I felt like, oh, so until I, like, magically learn to love myself, you're telling me I'm incapable of anybody being interested in me? Or, like, you know? Yeah, that's not true. It's not true at all. And it's not an overnight process to learn to love yourself. And I can probably pretty much guarantee you that the ones that are saying that to you don't even love themselves yet, and they're still learning as well. But don't think that you're incapable of being loved, or even so much as liked, just because maybe you don't love yourself yet. Still encourage you to learn in whatever process, in whatever way you have to, learn to love yourself. Obviously, I'm not discouraging that, I'm encouraging that. But it does not mean that you are incapable of finding someone in the process. Just know that you don't deserve to be talked down to, treated poorly, all the negative toxicity, all of that. That's all you have to know. You don't have to necessarily, like, love yourself and be super confident and everything else in order to find someone. But I obviously encourage you to learn to be confident and find someone who complements, like, everything you have going on for yourself. But until then, it doesn't mean, like, oh, I'm just hopeless, nobody's gonna even see me or like me or anything until I learn to love myself. Like, that's not true. It's not. It's been years and I'm still working on learning to love myself. And it's been years to try to learn to see my own self-worth. And I'm finally working on that part of it. I finally see some self-worth going on here. And I'm finally seeing stuff that I do not deserve. Like being talked down to, like I said, being treated poorly, acting like they're there one day and then the next, like, you just don't even exist to them anymore, stuff like that. So I am learning about my self-worth, but no, I don't fully love myself yet, and you could see that in the previous video that I made. It's like my self-image, I feel huge, I feel ugly, I feel all of those things, but I also know that that doesn't mean that it's just a complete hopeless thing for someone to see me and like me in the meantime. Like, on my journey to learning to love myself and have complete confidence and all that. So when people say that, like, it's hurtful to see, like, be told, well, until you learn to love yourself, like, you're stuck, nobody's gonna want you. It's not true at all. But still work on loving yourself and getting confidence in everything. But it doesn't mean that, like, no one's gonna come along and see you for who you are and see your worth and everything like that. I just felt the need to say that because I could not tell you how many times people are like, oh, well, until you love yourself, nobody else can. How can you expect that to happen? It doesn't work that way. So, and I know it's like, it takes a toll when you have depression and you feel like you're, like, alone, like maybe you just broke up with someone or something, and then everyone's like, well, you have to learn to love yourself before you, like, can have anyone else love you. No, that's not true. But still, please start on your journey to learning to love yourself, to have confidence, to find who you truly are. That way you will know whether or not the person is right for you or not, because they're gonna come along, like, you're gonna find someone and they might not be right either, but you have to know, like, what you want. You have to know what you deserve. Those are the important things. Loving yourself is a process. Learning to love yourself is a process. Learning to have confidence is a process. It all is, and I'm still working on it too. But it doesn't mean that, like, someone can't come along and help you through that process, like people are making it sound. So I just wanted to say, like, you're not hopeless in finding a new relationship if you're not ready, like, to have full confidence and love yourself and everything like that. I just disagree with the statement that you can't expect anyone to love you until you love yourself. I just can't agree with it. Only to the extent that you have to know what you don't deserve. And I don't mean like, oh, they're too good for me, I don't deserve them. No, I mean you have to know that when you don't deserve to be treated poorly and talked down to, things like that. I could go on and on, but I just wanted to say, like, you are not hopeless in finding someone just because maybe you don't love yourself yet. But please still continue to work on that. Learn to love yourself. Learn to embrace who you are. Learn to find who you are. What defines you. Like, what you want out of life. What you want out of a relationship. Things like that. Because, like, if you really take the time to do that, it's probably going to make your dating experience easier, and you're going to be more inclined to deny those who you know are like, okay, yeah, no, too toxic or too whatever. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that you have to fully love yourself and your self-image and have full confidence to find someone. It doesn't mean that. So don't feel hopeless because when people use these quotes and sayings and memes that they find on the internet, don't believe that. You're not hopeless, but still learn to love yourself, no matter how long it takes. Just as long as you're on the journey of finding it, and just, you know what I mean? Just keep finding yourself, and then you're going to learn to love yourself once you realize who you really are.